crown jewel of the Discovery Channel reached the absolute pinnacle of television, drawing 8.5 million viewers for a single heart-wrenching episode.
That's 8 hours!
Only to find itself years later struggling to keep even less than 1 million people watching.
Run! Run!
What in the world happened to the Deadliest Catch? This isn't just a story of declining ratings. It's a saga of betrayal behind the scenes. A string of tragedies so frequent that some whispered about a curse. Whispers of faked footage undermining its very foundation. And the slow, painful decay of a reality TV giant.
I might need a tow. Oh, man.
The truth is messier. It's darker and far more complex than anybody could have thought.
That's not good.
Let's rewind to April 2005. Discovery Channel launches Deadliest Catch. The pitch? Simple, brutal honesty. A documentary-style look inside Alaskan crab fishing. Statistically, one of the most lethal jobs on the planet.
I've never seen this before.
The season is competitive and short, less than a week. The risk, enormous.
Forget manufactured drama. This was about man versus nature. Bone-chilling cold, sleep deprivation, and the constant threat of the Bering Sea claiming another victim.
Really dangerous.
I was wrong. Let's get to the guy over there real quick. Come on, guys. I don't know what happened there. Just lines popping out. Now, what you see, what you see. Wait. Boss! The tide's really screaming. It snapped the whole thing right out.
And it worked. Early seasons felt viscerally real. The focus was tight, the grueling labor, the camaraderie forged in shared danger, the psychological toil.
And slipped on that last one. This guy's okay. All right, let's figure out a way to get through this string without any more shenanigans, hijinks, or bizarre stuff occurring.
Critics weren't just positive, they were effusive. Matt Zoller's sites for Salon nailed it. It was really a documentary series about the toll taken by relentless physical labor, setting it miles apart from the burgeoning reality TV noise. It earned multiple Emmys for Outstanding Reality Program, proving that real could be compelling. Viewership climbed steadily, proving the concept resonated. By season 3 in 2007, it was a certified monster hit, averaging over 3 million viewers every week, a cumulative audience of 49 million over the entire season.
Whoa! Turn the block off.
These weren't just cable numbers, they were network-level numbers. Deadliest Catch became Discovery's crown jewel.
Yeah. You doing okay besides being cold?
Defining an entire genre of dangerous jobs television alongside shows like Ice Road Truckers and Dirty Jobs. Its name was synonymous with raw, unscripted peril.
Thinking about the weather right now, if something doesn't happen here pretty quick, we're going to be screwed again. The ice is going to come down and we're out of business.
Central to this success were the captains, grizzled, compelling figures viewers connected with.
Let me just give you his blood pressure, 150 over 120.
So, I would say a mini stroke, an early stroke. It could be that
know, he had a TIA, trans-ischemic attack. We won't really know for a while. Make sense?
Yep. Okay, we'll be here if you got any questions.
None more so than Captain Phil Harris of the FIV Cornelia Marine.
Wish that all I had to do today was go out and find some crab, but nope. I have to produce a crabby crab captain.
Oh, come on. I'm decent today. I'm not bitching. I've been a sport today, a real pal.
Tattooed, gruff, but with the vulnerability that cut through the screen. He wasn't just a captain, he felt like a flawed father figure, navigating treacherous waters, both literal and personal.
The Cornelia Marie is bigger, faster, and packs more crab.
Often with his sons Jake and Josh working on deck, adding another layer of family dynamic to the high-stakes environment.
On deck, Jake Harris is starting his first king crab season as a full share deckhand, while his older brother Joshua has assumed Jake's old job as bait boy.
There you go. Start filling. Pull it with your hands. How is it working under your younger brother?
No, it's weird. Don't get me wrong. It's weird. But it's pretty cool.
The show's commitment to documenting reality faced its ultimate test during filming for season 6 in January of 2010. While offloading crab in St. Paul Island, Captain Phil suffered a massive stroke. The cameras, embedded with the crew as always, were rolling. Phil, in immense pain, but ever the showman, reportedly urged the film crew, keep rolling, document everything. Phil Harris tragically passed away on February 9, 2010. Discovery faced an agonizing decision: how to portray the death of their biggest star. They chose to honor his reported wish, dedicating the back half of season 6 to his final days, weaving in tributes and unseen footage, bringing viewers intimately into the crew's grief. What followed was television history. The episode showing Phil's stroke drew 5.2 million viewers in June. Then, on July 13, 2010, the episode Redemption Day, depicting his final hours in death, pulled in an astonishing 8.5 million viewers. For a little bit of context, that's more viewers than most major network season finales drew that year. It became the third most watched telecast in Discovery Channel's entire history up to that point. Clark Bunting, then president of Discovery, acknowledged the paradox. I wish this never would have been a storyline of the series, but I am proud of the heart and emotion we put into these episodes as a tribute to Phil. The handling was widely praised for its emotional authenticity. It was the show's cultural zenith, its most profound moment, and with cruel irony, the high water mark from which the slow decline would begin.
I can't stop you, idiot! Hang on, heads up! Power on! You moron! What's up?
This intersection of real-life tragedy and record-breaking television's kind of fascinating, right? Well, if you want breakdowns of more cultural phenomenon that reached incredible heights only to face dramatic turns, make sure you subscribe. We dissect stories like this all the time. Just as the show reached its emotional and commercial peak, the foundation cracked. The ink was barely dry on those record ratings when Deadliest Catch nearly imploded from within. September 2010, just weeks after season 6 concluded,
This is what's going to dictate the rest of this day. Right here. Hopefully Andy had him in the right spot.
Discovery filed a $3 million lawsuit against Captains Jonathan and Andy Hillstrand of the FIV Time Bandit. The allegation? Failing to complete work on a planned spin-off special called Hillstranded. The Hillstrands didn't just lawyer up, they walked. They quit Deadliest Catch, and they weren't alone. Captain Sig Hansen of the Northwestern, another original iconic vase, immediately joined them, declaring solidarity. His words, sharp and clear: "The captains stand together. We are standing united." Just think about that impact for a second. Phil Harris, gone. Now Sig and the Hillstrands, arguably the three biggest remaining stars, were also out.
Captain Sig Hansen tracks a Paradise school fleeing the western border of the restricted area.
You've got an upcoming Apelio season, and so you want to get this done.
Discovery was staring down Season 7, potentially missing all of its original core captains, except for Keith Colburn of The Wizard.
All of a sudden, the stack is just going nuts. That one pod looks like it's trying to fall off the boat. Well, where the are we? We're going up to St. Paul. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about that right now. So,
the show that had just hit its peak viewership was suddenly on the verge of total collapse due to internal conflict, a self-inflicted wound threatening his future.
You got the con. Next time you lose a Rochambeau, just make sure you stick with your loss, all right? No, next time I lose a Rochambeau, I gotta immediately say 2 out of 3. So what? We haven't done the other 2 yet?
The captains released a joint statement underscoring the severity. "We have been through a lot over the past years. Given the current situation with Discovery, we are unable to continue participating in Deadliest Catch. It has been a fantastic ride, and we wish the best to all of the crew members." Well, to fans, that felt like a betrayal, not by the captains, but of them by the network. For weeks, the future hung in the balance. Then, just as the King Crab season was about to begin in October 2010, a resolution.
Northeast of Dutch Harbor, the Time Bandit is racing to close out the King Crab season.
We're on our 4th trip. We got 40s and 50s. I'm happier than hell.
Discovery dropped the lawsuit. The captains agreed to finish Hill Stranded and return to the main show. "We're happy we worked everything out. A deal's a deal. We're heading up to Dutch Harbor," they announced, putting on a united front. Okay, crisis averted, but the scars? Yeah, they remained. That incident exposed the friction between network demands and the increasingly famous talent. It proved the captains would walk. A precedent was set, hinting that loyalty, yeah, that was conditional.
Woo! You guys are badass!
The short timers now. So they call it.
This internal peace wouldn't last long, however, as the years that followed brought a different kind of storm. A relentless, almost unsettling series of departures, tragedies, and scandals that hollowed out the show's core. Jake Harris, Phil's younger son, his struggles with addiction amplified by grief played out painfully on screen. He left the show around 2012 for rehab, but his troubles continued with DUI and drug possession arrests. He became a ghost, a reminder of potential loss. Elliot Neese, the young, often controversial captain of the saga. His tenure was marked by erratic behavior.
Elliot Neese, the future is uncertain.
I gotta wait till the boat gets to town. The camera's coming off my boat. And I will never be shown on Deadliest Catch again.
He abruptly left mid-season 11, handing over the helm and checking into rehab for drug addiction. He also later went scorched earth on social media, accusing producers of manipulating his image. He claims Discovery spends time fabricating stories and getting him into situations just to make him look bad. Attempts to bring him back failed, leaving another hole in the cast. Andy Hillstrand quietly retired after season 13.
Nobody needs to be told what to do.
They're washing my windows.
On the Time Bandit,
I'm shocked.
taking advantage of his retirement year.
And Annie's down there going, this is what happens. Before every string, you clean the windows.
Captain Jonathan Hillstrand enjoys the benefits of having little brother Andy aboard the boat.
If his windows are dirty, he wants them cleaned off because...
His brother Jonathan also took breaks before returning later.
But right now, we're going for golden crabs. It was really good to us last year. Pretty excited.
Yeah.
You get to fish for my brother Andy.
The Time Bandit magic faded, its presence less consistent on the show.
Be ready for it.
Me and Harley were on the Barbara J last season, but I want to go king crabbing. So we We upgraded and got the Pacific Mariner. He cashed in on his...
Sam Dwyer, introduced as a next-gen captain in Season 12.
It's broken. You gotta be kidding me. The only thing that's holding him in there is the bait, because the hole's wide open on the side of the pod.
Fans liked him, seeing potential for the future. But after Season 14, Discovery didn't invite him back. Another arbitrary production decision that frustrated viewers who craved stability. Beyond departures, tragedies stalked the Deadliest Catch family with alarming frequency, fueling talk of a curse among fans and commentators. The grim tally grew year after year. 2011, Justin Tennyson of the Time Bandit, found dead at 33. 2015, Tony Lara, former Cornelia Marie captain, heart attack at 50. Joe McMahon, show producer, shot and killed in California.
A man is shot and killed outside his home in an unincorporated section of Pasadena. The victim's family heard the gunfire and then a car speed away.
You could imagine they are incredibly devastated by what's happened, and nobody really has any idea why this young man was targeted. He has been identified.
2018, Blake Painter, early season's captain, overdose at 38. 2020, Mullen Reyes, deckhand, heart attack at 38. While the cast dealt with personal demons and loss, another shadow loomed, shocking legal troubles involving key figures, which further tarnished the brand image. Edgar Hansen, Sig's brother, the Northwestern deck boss. In July of 2018, news broke that he'd quietly pleaded guilty to the sexual assault of a 16-year-old girl from an incident the previous year. He admitted to molesting the teen. He received a plea deal, avoiding jail time. Discovery's response? Utter silence. Edgar just simply vanished from the show after season 14. No announcement, no explanation, just gone. The lack of transparency was deafening.
What the hell's going on with this thing? Steering's gone. Clark!
Sig Hansen, the show's biggest star, faced his own storm. In 2017, an estranged adult daughter filed a lawsuit alleging childhood molestation. The claims were ultimately dismissed due to statute of limitations, and Sig vehemently denied them anyway. Separate from that, in May 2017, Sig was arrested after a drunken late-night confrontation where he spat on an Uber driver and kicked the car. He pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault in 2018, receiving probation. Well, despite the guilty plea and the disturbing nature of the allegations, Discovery kept him front and center.
After Sig Hansen was hit with sex abuse claims this week, fans questioned the fate of his show, Deadliest Catch. But the series network Discovery Channel insists the show must go on.
The contrast with Edgar's quiet removal was stark and raised some uncomfortable questions about star treatment. Josh Harris, Phil's elder son, positioned as the inheritor of the Cornelia Marine legacy, given his own spin-off, Deadliest Catch Bloodline. Then, September 2022, the bombshell. Investigative reports unearthed the long-hidden 1999 conviction. When Josh was a teenager, he sexually assaulted a 4-year-old girl. The details were horrific. The crime predated the show by years, but its revelation was devastating. Discovery acted quickly, and Josh Harris was fired immediately. He was scrubbed from Deadliest Catch, and Bloodline was instantly canceled. The Harris family's nearly 2-decade narrative arc on the show ended abruptly and in utter disgrace, leaving a massive void.
Swimming. You gotta wonder who we pissed off to get stuck with 3 Harrises.
While real-life horrors unfolded off-camera, questions mounted about the reality viewers saw on camera. The show, built on authenticity, now faced persistent accusations of fakery, chipping away at its core identity. The infamous fake storm, that season 4 wizard incident, became legendary for all the wrong reasons.
Huge waves coupled with a leak below decks suggested that the ship was in immediate danger of sinking.
The episode depicted a terrifying rogue wave flooding the wheelhouse, but it wasn't one event. Production spliced footage from 2 different weather systems a week apart. A leak incident from September 26th, reportedly under clear skies, was combined with a big wave from early October.
Waves were filmed in October, a month after the Wizard's crew scrambled to fix the leak. It was such a big deal that Discovery's president, John Ford, made an official statement about the scene, explaining, The Wizard was struck by a big wave, and that wave caused the leak you see in the show. The thing we didn't have on camera was the actual wave that struck the Wizard. That was shot at a separate time on the same journey. We did that for the story continuity.
A leaked production outline even used the phrase, "the fiction we are constructing." Discovery tried to downplay it, calling the outline a draft and admitting to pickup shots, but the damage to credibility was immense. How much else was being manipulated behind the scenes? Eagle-eyed fans started noticing continuity errors, awkward dialogue suggesting scripting. Insiders confirmed the regular use of pickup shots, reshooting minor actions for clarity, blurring the documentary line. Elliot Neese's claims about the producers fabricating stories started gaining traction. Was the drama organic or engineered to fill airtime? The line seemed increasingly blurry. Adding to the surreal atmosphere, in May 2010, news surfaced of an undercover drug sting in Dutch Harbor. A 22-year-old Deadliest Catch production manager was arrested for dealing cocaine. He allegedly told investigators his supervisor imported large amounts of cocaine for Deadliest Catch parties. While not involving on-air talent, it painted a picture of a hard-partying, potentially reckless behind-the-scenes culture, starkly contrasting the show's gritty, blue-collar image and raising questions about the environment surrounding the production. This growing disconnect between the show's image and its alleged practices, coupled with the cost turmoil, began to boil over into fan sentiment, and the cumulative effect? Disillusionment. Online hubs like Reddit became hubs for criticism. Threads titled, "I can no longer watch this show. The fake drama is unbearable," garnered significant support. Complaints centered on repetitive manufactured conflict, the obligatory wheelhouse shouting matches, the annual "this ice pack is the worst ever" hype. Too much Captain Drama, not enough fishing. Viewers felt the show was losing its soul. There's also the Cornelia Marie debacle from season 13. This crystallized fan frustration. Discovery decided to bench the iconic Blue Boat and Josh Harris for the season, calling it a very tough creative decision. Josh himself announced it via Facebook video, stating it was not our decision, this was made by production. The backlash on that one was immediate and fierce. Fans felt it was disrespectful to Phil's legacy. One Facebook comment directed at Josh summed it all up. "Boycott the show? This is bullshit. Your dad made that show." Petitions circulated and the pressure worked. The Cornelia Marie was reinstated in season 14, but the incident revealed the widening gap between network strategy and viewer loyalty, showing the network could misjudge its audience quite badly. All this turmoil, behind the scenes, on screen, and in the real lives of its stars, inevitably started to impact the one thing networks care about most: viewership.
Again. Same thing as last time.
Oh, the back wheel.
Just days ago,
Get down!
a similar wave laid waste to the Cape Caution's deck, shattering deck boards and damaging the sorting table.
Yeah, the decline wasn't sudden, but it was pretty steep and undeniable. Peak 2010, 8.5 million. Early 2010s premieres, 3 to 4 million. Still strong into 2016, often winning its time slot with 2+ million. 2020 premiere, boosted by Bloodline launch, a hopeful blip of 2.2 million. But the trend was relentlessly downward. Seasons 17 and 18 often hovering around 1 to 1.5 million. By 2023 to 2024, consistently under 1 million, frequently landing below 800,000. US TV database data showed an October 2024 episode at just 0.79 million. From a historic peak to less than a tenth of that audience in just over a decade. Now, interestingly, season by season, user rating on sites like IMDb didn't show a total collapse, hovering in the mid-7s, suggesting a core group still found value in the production. But the mass audience, the millions who tuned in during its heyday, had clearly abandoned ship. To be fair, not all wounds were self-inflicted. The environment around the show shifted dramatically, adding some external pressures to its internal woes. The dangerous jobs reality genre peaked. Competitors faded. Ice Road Truckers ended in 2017, for example. Streaming services exploded, fragmenting audiences and pulling eyeballs from linear cable. Younger viewers weren't tuning into Discovery, they were on Netflix or YouTube, where independent fishing channels offered raw, unmediated content. You know, the same thing the Deadliest Catch once promised, often without the perceived layer of production manipulation. Over time, Discovery itself also changed, chasing broader, sometimes more sensational content. They really tried to milk the Deadliest Catch brand with spin-offs. After the Catch, The Bait, Dungeon Cove, which failed after one season, and Bloodline. But Bloodline's success was tied to Josh Harris, and its abrupt cancellation after his firing showed the fragility of that strategy. Did spin-offs dilute the main brand and stretch resources too thin? Possibly. And then came an ecological disaster, a factor entirely outside of the show's control but profoundly impacting its subject: climate change, warming waters. In 2021, the Bristol Bay red king crab fishery closed. In 2022, the unthinkable, the Bering sea snow crab fishery closed due to a catastrophic population crash, down 90%. This forced the entire industry into crisis mode. Season 19 of 2023 gamely tried to follow this real-world drama, showing captains desperately targeting golden king crab and burrito. Aram star Paul promised to look at how the fleet adapted to hard times. It was arguably the most authentic storyline in years, but the audience wasn't there to see it like they used to be. So the downfall of Deadliest Catch wasn't a single shipwreck, it was a slow flooding. A series of leaks sprung by internal conflict, devastating personal tragedies, corrosive scandals, and a perceived drift from authenticity, questionable network decisions, and finally, the harsh reality of a changing ocean. The show, once defined raw reality TV, had become a lesson in how fragile that reality can be under the glare of fame and the pressures of production. It proved that real danger and human struggle could captivate millions, but also showed how quickly that captivating formula can curdle. Season 20 aired in 2024, a remarkable run.
I don't know. If I can avoid the wave, we'll be okay, but we're gonna get those every once in a while.
But it sails on as a shadow of its former self, a legacy haunted by lost stars and lingering controversies. A cautionary tale adrift in the vast sea of content that had once dominated.